right. Well, welcome to the video, guys. This is Chris from Team Blue Falcons. I'm here with Vinnie, our current team lead, and I'm here with Matt, who is part of the Wisefire Alliance. We're here to
Hey,
kind of take a look at some of the cards on the ban list and see what we can get figured out about them. So, Vinnie, would you like to go ahead and lead us off? What's our first card?
sure thing, Matt. Let me take a quick look here. How do you guys feel about Dandelion?
Dandelion. Personally, I'd like it back. I don't think it'll come back.
That card cannot come back, I'm sorry.
I think giving it the snatch steal would honestly end the same. You give it the snatch steals treatment, you bring it back, and it goes right back on the ban list. But I'd like it back for that one format.
I can agree with giving it the snatch steal treatment.
We do have to realize we are going to be skipping a format, like entire format.
Yeah, we are jumping directly into Master.
No, we're going to be dropping into Master Rule 5 and Eternity Code.
Oh yeah, so we're gonna be. Yeah, that's gonna.
Yeah, we are hella screwed.
Yeah, well, I think honestly, we should probably address this and just get out of the way. I personally think that this is something that we're kind of going to get to week the week out with. There's going to be people that are going to drop out of the game, people that are going to fall behind the curve because they don't want to practice because, oh, well, my next event's not till whenever. Oh, I don't have to do anything. That's going to cost people to be around. But at the same time, not exactly something that we could prevent.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, definitely. There's no way we can prevent this. Like it just
Right.
happened.
We can do a whole video on this topic another day.
But I think we've got our answer with Dandelion.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of 2-1, but bringing it back for a format to see. But I think we all know it's just going to go right back to zero.
Oh yeah, definitely. Cause Firewall banned it basically.
It banned itself. It was capable of moving the game state.
And for the same token, no pun intended, GoFu and Grinder Golem can stay where they are too.
Oh yeah,
I
definitely.
I
Actually,
want
no.
to go back because I'm a huge scrub. However, I agree. They really do need to stay where they are at zero. Token generation in Yu-Gi-Oh is incredibly busted right now, and it's just going to get worse as time.
It's the same thing with Tomahawk. Because we summon in the next milestone one, then bam, we got Saryuja. Simple as that.
We would have 6 materials to use for whatever link shenanigans we wanted off of just 2
Level 7s.
level 7s. Yeah.
And honestly, it's a miracle we still have Scapegoat.
And I will
It's at
also
1.
point out with Grinder Golem has to stay because here in the TG we have Security Dragon. We did not have Grinder Golem was allowed. It was a preemptive hit during the beginning of our little Link era here because of the OCG's combos with it and Security Dragon and whatever else they were.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, so moving away from tokens, Chris, what do you got for us?
I'm going from main deck, right?
Anywhere you want.
Ooh. All right. I mean, these 3 kind of go hand in. I'll leave them later. Fiber Jar because nobody likes resetting the game. I personally think that Fiber Jar is the kind of card, if they bring it back, it either needs a ridiculous cost, it needs to be completely eroded to have a ridiculous cost or a ridiculous activation requirement.
Has a once per duel, and it doesn't shuffle itself back into the deck.
Yeah, I was gonna say give it the glow up bulb effect, or even give it. Let's see.
And then
More
add,
recently, I want to say the Makiura the Destructor effect.
yeah.
That's not CC official.
I would also say if they're gonna bring it back, I would also put banished on there because that's now more prevalent than ever.
Yeah, but then we have to give it a cost because a complete reset of the game, that's a lot.
But it's a flip monster.
Not the point.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, burn your normal summon because you top decked Fiber Jar late game and you reset and take game.
Yeah, I see that now.
I think we can probably incorporate Cyber Jar number 2 or Cyber Jar
Yeah.
because that's along the same lines, and I'm vehemently against that card.
That card's actually it's not the worst, but what decks are really running level 4s or lowers right now?
All of them.
Oh yeah, you're right. Never mind.
Oh, hey, cool. I Cyber Jarred into a Seifert, a Brotar, a like what else are they running now? Oh, and let's throw that into Dragon Meats just for cool. Now I have Kitchen, Seifert, and Brotar all just hit the field at the same time.
Calm thyself.
All right, moving on. Matt, you pick something.
Okay, we got 2. These are some close ones to me and Chris. Somewhat Chris. Colossus, and then Electromite.
Yeah, let's get them over with. Go ahead, guys.
No, Matt, you go first. You picked.
I would like Colossus back for one at least. My thing is, I know we're getting the Nemesis archetype in this next format because we're not having a whole month of a format. But if we have at least one, I get that every deck's going to splash it in since the Nemesis Thunder Dragon, the Thunder monsters, a card and activates in hand, and then just summons itself and then makes it a Colossus. But Thunder Dragons, it isn't really the same with no Colossus, is my problem. Because I like Thunder Dragons, it got me my invites, my first 2 invites. It's always going to have a soft spot in my heart for it.
Yeah.
Your turn, Chris?
On the subject of Colossus coming back, I think if they put Colossus back, it would really breathe life back into to the point you could see it at Rogue. Because Titan Control is, I mean, it's got serious consistency issues.
It's not good. It's not good.
Yeah.
I can tell you. It's not good.
In layman's terms, Titan Control is trash.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
yeah.
with at least one Colossus, I mean, sure, you now have to deal with the fact that turn 1 Thunder is going to establish Colossus, Titan, Hope Harbinger. Okay, so you have what? Interrupts you have to play through. But if you can get rid of the Colossus first, you can at least start searching. And your opponent can't just keep throwing Colossus. you can't get stuck under a triple block.
Triple Colossus was unfair. I can agree with that. I can.
Even double.
Oh yeah, double Colossus or triple Colossus is a hard, or three. I've made a board of 3.
Yeah.
Because my opponent Lancia'd me, and they were dumb enough to let me have just 3.
Yeah, and it's one of those cards that in multiples it's a problem, but as a singular card, I mean, there's a lot of ways around it. We under Colossus sitting in early 2000 or mid 2000, or staring down a Colossus can shut down a deck. Have all the expense that we need to deal with just. Vinnie?
Honestly, Colossus can stay where he is, but I would be fine with him being at 1 at the absolute most.
Okay.
Oh yeah, but definitely. I will vouch saying that being at 1 is all I would ask for.
Alright, let's move on to Electromite.
Electromite is Bay. Okay. Chris, you can agree with that.
Yeah.
I do understand why they hit it. Like, Pendulum was going to be tier 0. Or, no. Spiral was still going to be tier 0. But with Celine we're getting, makes Pendulums actually work. Like they used to. And not have to run a ton of engine cards just to be able to establish a board of Savage. Even gives you a draw, sets up your extra deck, so you can just Pendulum summon and then do all that fun stuff. That's my only thing I miss about it, running Electromite and Pendulums, because it just doesn't feel right. Because it's just weird. Chris?
I mean, a lot of the rogue and below pendulum decks really relied on even just at 1 in order to be viable, playable. So as a hit to the mechanic, Electromite was taking away that ability to make an unable hand into something. Speaking from experience in Dino.
Oh yeah.
Opening nothing but Dynamist monsters isn't great. But having Electromite there, extender like Chronograph, and the odd eyes I was to get a Persona Dragon on the board. It was huge losing that utility. And the draw did help as well. If you could get Electromite back to Pendulums, learned how to do that.
Like they hit Servant down to 1, which hurts a lot. Very much so. But yeah, like with Chronograph, it made things actually fair for Pendulums to actually compete in meta and actually do Pendulum things. And having the draw, it was nice.
Yeah.
Even
And
though,
from another perspective, we have to consider the fact that Electromite was taken preemptively.
oh yeah,
Taken out so that in this new math rule, we no longer have a tool alongside all of the Selene, needle fiber, or I'm sorry, Halke fiber. Oh god, that's
Just call him Needle Fiber to make things easy on yourself.
But like we just got a huge number of boosts to the deck over the last structure. Hello. But we're staring at a huge shift. This influx of cards this complete. And Electromite, as much as I love Electromite posed a problem.
Oh yeah.
Sure, you could say that, oh, they should have hit that. And I myself am a big opponent for Harmonize because it's a lot of stupid plays.
Oh yeah,
But
Harmonizer should have gotten hit. Like, I'm sorry for butting in, but Harmonizer should have got hit.
Right.
I agree to an extent, but realistically, the best way to make sure that Pendulum as was to take out. They needed the biggest hit that they could, in addition to keeping the restrictions on it that they are.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Vinny, what are your thoughts?
You literally just summed up my thoughts about Electromite.
Well,
Like, you just made everything 10 times easier for me. But on the subject of Electromite, we're gonna move to Skullcrobat Joker, Wisefire, and Kieran. Let's get them out of the way too.
I mean, speaking as somebody that's played while those cards were at numbers, fuck those cards.
Remember, we're on
Skullcrobat.
YouTube, Chris. Watch the language.
Oh, who cares? This is too mature audience, anyways.
Anyways, for me, I mean, Skullcrobat Joker going away was. I wasn't really playing the professional engines, so it wasn't a huge hit for me, but I how big of a hit it was to the deck and to the mechanic. Skullcrobat is a card that we've seen at multiple times now. We've seen it at 1 a couple of times. We've seen it at 0.
I was gonna
We've seen
say
it
this
at
wouldn't
3.
be its first time
Yeah,
being at 0.
and it's had its chance in the Snatch Steel format where you release it back into the wild for a little bit, and then you put it back because it's still too strong. And with us going into a format where even for Pendulum, zones matter a hell of a lot less now, it's just like Electromite. It's too strong of a tool for this deck. It really does stay where it is. What do you think, Matt?
I only use Skullcrobat Joker. That's my only thing. I've never played with Kieran or Wisefire. Skullcrobat Joker, yes, is basically a Stratos for Pendulum. Don't get me wrong about that, but with having Electromite on, I would see Skullcrobat Joker come back to 1 at least. Because I understand that it's been all over the place. But give Pendulum at least something back for hitting Electromite. Like, it's like almost done cruelty to Pendulum.
I can agree with giving something back to Pendulums, but I don't think Skullcrobat Joker is it.
I mean, you're not wrong, but it helps.
Outside of giving them Electromite, obviously.
It just helps them become more consistent, is my thing. Like, sure, just put it at 1.
And Vinny, what are your thoughts?
I mean, like I just said, I don't know what we'd give back to Pendulums, but Skullcrobat will not be it. Like, I'd rather see, what is it called, Double Iris come back before Joker. Hold on, we may make sure I'm reading the right card here. Yeah, I'd rather see Double Iris than Skullcrobat come back.
That's fair.
or even monkey board for that matter.
Ooh.
No, I'm picking double iris over either of them.
Oh yeah, I was going. Monkey board's right up there with Skullcrabat. It needs.
Right. All right.
That's pretty really good.
How we feeling about Wisefire?
I mean, personally, I think Flushfire can get the Snatch Steal treatment. It can come back to 1. We'll see how it does, and then just gradually move it off the ban list. Best way to at least give it a shot. Because realistically, the card.
Well, we can test it at 1. If it does well, move it up, and if it does exactly what everybody fears it'll do again, just get rid of it all over again. Because I played Pepe format. I didn't like it. I hated it.
Matt?
I don't think Matt was around for Wisefire or Kieran for that matter.
That's true. He did just say that. Speaking of Kieran, honestly, I don't know why that card is still at for a 0. I don't understand. We have other cards that do similar, if not the same thing. And it just kind of seems like it's high time that we at least give Kieran a chance.
I mean, just looking at Kieran, I'm getting flashbacks, but I can I can see it coming back to 1, if anything.
I would, like I said, same thing. I would like to see it come back to 1 and see what it does. I mean, it's no more broken than half of what we've got out there. And sure, it's backed by the pendulum mechanic, but the pendulum mechanic doesn't need Kieran do what Kieran does in a better way.
Its own archetype didn't even play it, if you remember correctly.
Yeah, that's because it's a level 5 or 6. But, it's not like it's the most splashable thing. You have to be able to pendulum summon it to use it. And sure, there's going to be people that are, going to try and revive Draco pals and stuff like that. But giving them 1 Kieran, they're going to be running the Mist Valley Apex Avian loop thing anyways. So why not it?
Right.
And
all right, let's get away from pendulums now, because I think that was the last one. Let's go back, I don't know, about 15 years or so. Let's go back to GOAT format. Duo. Graceful's not on here anymore. Huh. Duo Snatch Steal. I guess we can do Feather Duster and Heavy Storm at the same time too.
well, why don't you go ahead and kick this one?
All right, I'll start with Snatch Steal. We've tested it. As long as we have cards like Isolde, we can't have another equip spell like that or even Prima back.
I absolutely agree. Snatch Steal is a card that.
I am sorry, I am back.
Nope, it's all good. We are on Snatch Steal now.
I heard that.
So, with Snatch Steal, it has come on and off of the ban list multiple times. It's been a problem card. Every format it's been. And I mean, it's sure when they first took it off of the list last time, people didn't run it. But I mean, at that point, everybody just assumed that Snatch Steal wouldn't be good, and then somebody won a regional with it. And in their profile said that it was because they had that card won. And sure.
Go ahead, Chris.
Sure, we've got stuff like Crackdown that works, in a similar way. We've got Widow Anchor, but they hit Widow Anchor. They still haven't taken Widow Anchor back off of being. And eventually, if Crackdown sees enough play, it will get hit. But Snatch Steal doesn't need to be run in trap-heavy decks like Crackdown. Crackdown is niche. Snatch Steal is the kind of card that you can throw into literally any deck and just, okay, cool, hey, give me that monster.
Like, literally, the last time we had Snatch Steal, I remember taking someone's Cleaford shell, I want to say, and ending the entire match.
Wow.
Yeah. What about you, Matt? What do you think about Snatch Steal?
I don't really know. Like, I get it's like a better mind control, but that's just an equip card. All I see it is as a mind control that you can actually use the card actually, and with having this format being so fast, I see it possibly coming back as a removal option. Like, that's all I would see it being used as.
True, but the problem is, unlike, say, Crackdown, which would be the equivalent that you've got the experience. Imagine if Crackdown didn't negate the monsters of. Because that's basically what we're talking. Spell card that can drop at any given point, and I can take your borrow. And if that's the only monster you've got, there's the OT. I'm gonna put something to that.
And bear in mind, Snatch Steal is searchable by Issel.
No, you can only mill it.
Close enough.
I mean, curious or not?
Oh yeah,
Griffin.
curious. Yeah.
There's ways around anything going to the graveyard. The graveyard is just.
Decks that usually play Issel most likely don't have Curious too far behind it. But anyways, let's move to Delinquent Duo. Chris, let's start with you.
Oh, Vietnam style. Just had its name. Oh, Duo is the type of card that it either has to be at 0 or 3, and I would much rather it be at a card that lets you rip 2 cards out of your opponent's hand. I mean, especially if you're going first. Okay.
Especially with dangers running around still.
Yeah. And I mean, this isn't we're not talking about something where you make your opponent discard 2 and then draw 2. No, it's just a straight neg 2 for your opponent. It is a complete +1 in card economy, and it's free. And it's such a overpowered card. It's absolutely ridiculous.
You're just going +1 with it technically. But yeah, I do see that.
Yeah, but the removal of resources for your opponent is what really matters.
Oh yeah, definitely. But now now cards having like graveyard effects doesn't really help. Like
yeah, but by that same logic, I mean, there's
like
always going to be the problem of I activate Duo as my first card. I rip out the one hand trap that's actually going to, stop my plays, and then you also have to discard a card on top of that.
Oh yeah, the card can't come back. I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It can't come back. I know you can go +1 with it in a turn, but it just can't go back. It just can't come back.
Yeah. I feel pretty strongly about any to see your.
We're still on duo, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
Mm.
How about Duster and Heavy Storm?
And Trunade, because that's technically all the same.
Yeah, true. Yeah, Trunade too.
As much as I want to say, let's bring them back to one, and it would have to be incremental. We would have to have one of them come back to one, and then the next one come back to one, and then the next one come back to one, and then move one of them to two, and so on and so forth. It would be years before we saw all of them at three again, and that's if people didn't abuse them. But I will also say that the sheer amount of back row hate in this game, if we start bringing back mass removal cards like that, back row decks will completely die out. We will not see
They would
Poltergeist.
be. I do have some input right there. They would not die out, is what I would say. The only reason is because Waking the Dragon is a card, and then the artifacts.
And so is I was gonna say so is Sanctum.
That's my only thing about that.
Well, I see. Those cards are definitely relevant to the discussion. But I will raise you this. My fear of Waking the Dragon in an OTK deck is a lot lower than my need to clear your back.
Oh yeah, I know where you're coming from. I understand. I'm just saying those cards do pose a threat. Like let's say you lead off with them, and then you hit their Sanctum, and then they flip it. You'd be like, oh
yeah.
shit. Like,
and then of course every single back row deck out there is going to be running, both of them at 3.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Just to make sure that, they have the best chance.
Like I would only see Heavy Storm coming back first instead of Duster. Just because it says destroy all spells and trap cards on the field is my only thing that would bring it back. And
with what Heavy Storm actually does, it makes it the more likely option.
And then
to come back to at least one over Duster.
It'll also get like the Dark Hole treatment where it was at 1 for a while, and then came back to 3 all of a sudden, and no one's using it. Only because it destroys your cards, your monsters, and your opponent's monsters. Like, cards, they say that you're going to do that. Think about it.
Alright, what's next?
I would like to go ahead and discuss kind of the elephant in the room. And I mean, the 3 kind of go hand in hand. So, Fairy Tale Snow, Brilliant Fusion, and that grass look.
Alright, save Brilliant Fusion for the last part of these 3 then, because I know how you feel about it.
Yeah. I'm gonna start with Snow. I think that she could come back to like 1, 2, even 3 if she was given, because if I remember right, she's like a soft once per turn.
She's not a once per turn.
Oh, she is not a.
They would have to make her a very hard once per turn.
Yeah.
Or a once per duel.
Right. Give it the glow bulb effect. You can have 3 Snow again.
Yeah, straight up. Just take it straight back to 3 from there. But if they give it a hard once per turn, take it to 1, see how it goes.
Yeah, if they give it just a hard once per turn, I can see 2 at max.
Yeah. But I would have this one part. Those 3 cards, Fairy Tale Snow, Fat Grass Looks Greener, and Brilliant Fusion, cannot all exist in the same form. The moment that
Absolutely
you
not.
have, yeah,
yeah,
the moment that
definitely
you
not.
have multiples, it becomes problematic because of how well they play off. People would be running Brilliant Fusion again just to dump Snow. Like the whole, getting Seraphinite out, yeah, that'd be cool. They'd be happy about that. But especially with the
But
format we're
the
moving into,
the real threat there would be Snow.
yeah, because I mean, say you use the Predaplant combo, right? Well, you've got Ophrys Scorpio, Darlingtonia Cobra, and Seraphinite all on the field, along with Brilliant Fusion itself. You've got the monster in the graveyard that was dumped by Ophrys Scorpio, and you've got Garnet in the graveyard that was dumped by Brilliant. You now only need one more card on the field or in the graveyard in order to pop Snow up on the field and screw up what your opponent was doing.
Like I've been around for a while. I was on the tail end of grass being banned. Like I was becoming competitive when grass got banned. I was here for Snow and Brilliant Fusion getting banned. Those 2 cards needed to go. Like all 3 of these had to go eventually. Even though I believe Brilliant Fusion's the most fair out of all of them, like to an extent. But Snow, you would have to give a hard once per turn or once per duel. Then it can come back. But I even doubt that to an extent. Just because the sheer fact it's just a better Gizmek Orochi. And being able to book a moon something on either player's turn as a quick effect was dumb. Because I wanted that ban for the longest time, and it should have, and it has finally gone, and I'm happy about it. Your guys' inputs anymore on Snow?
I've said my piece on Snow.
Yeah, I've also.
Basically the same thing goes for
Grass?
grass.
Yeah, this format cannot have grass. Because if you let your opponent do their full combo, they're going to be at like 20 cards in their deck. And you're jumping like 40 cards to your grave. That's legitimately dumb. 60 card decks are going to be overpowered.
Again.
Like, even more than what they were. Like,
well, and the other thing that we have to consider with that is the Adamantia or Adamantia, whatever it's called.
They won't even use their grave.
Don't they need certain monsters in the graveyard?
Yeah, but you can stack your deck.
Well, yeah, but
And you don't.
imagine if they stack their deck with exactly what they want to mill.
Yeah, but I don't see this card coming back as the thing.
I don't know. A lot of the Adamantia decks that I've seen so far, block dragon builds. I feel like grass would benefit. Sorry, we're getting sidetracked.
I mean,
yeah, we're starting to get a little sidetracked, but you are right.
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong, but I wouldn't run Black Dragon and not a Mashio. I would run it as a 1-of. That's all.
All right, Chris, I'll open the floor up to you about Brilliant Fusion first.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. Anyways, yeah, no. Brilliant Fusion is I have a love-hate relationship with the card. I have way too long of a track record with opening or whatever. And I mean, it's great in fusion-based decks where you can still pull it off just because you have as well the light target. But the problem is the engine is too strong. And I feel like one of two things was going. Either Brilliant was going to get the ban, or Seraphinite. Because we're coming into this new master rule where fusion summoning isn't restricted anymore. We have this entire refreshment of how the fusion exceed synchro summoning going back to the old ways. So being able to pop Seraphinite on the field at any given point in your combo, having to worry about where to put it, Seraphinite is now just as powerful as it was during during pre-Zodiac form. And I mean, even honestly, during Zodiac form, it was still a card. And sure, it sucks for the Gemini. It sucks for the people that use the engine because, much like I said about Electromite earlier, it was able to take Rogue and below decks and give them a viable way to extend, to get their plays to actually go off one. But that doesn't, the need of the Rogue and below deck does not outweigh the sheer damage by Spiral, or literally any meta deck that would figure out to abuse Seraph and the ability to dump a light monster. Looking at the perspective of the Predaplane engine, because I play that deck. If you were to pull off the Ophrah Scorpio combo and dump Trick Clown, it comes back. Now you can just make Sareja shits. That's it. There's no real drawback. You have the materials for a Link 4. And it came off of one normal summon. You got a replacement for that normal because Seraphinite's on the. And now we're in a where it doesn't matter where you put the Seraphinite. You can still make all your other plays around it however you want. And it's a preemptive hit because they needed to hit it. And it is honestly, coming from a Predaplane player, I stopped playing that card specifically because I knew it was coming. It's always been a problem. They've been slowly but surely reducing the number of Brilliant Fusion over and over, and it started seeing too much play again. It was just kind of a natural progression.
I can honestly agree with everything you just said, Chris.
Now, here's the part you're not going to agree with. I want it to come back to 1. But I want this new master rule to get figured out first. I want to see Brilliant come back in 8 months. I want to see it come back end of this year, once the format is kind of more solidified, just to shake things up and give life back to those decks that could run it and run it best.
Honestly, I can agree with that.
Huh.
What do you think, Matt?
You okay there, Matt?
You might have summed up everything there, Chris.
Yeah, I'm thinking so. I'm not sure if we lost Matt or not.
So you mentioned Zodiac format, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's knock Broadbull and Dryden out of here.
We've discussed this in the past. A previous attempt at making a video like this, and I think we've discussed it on our side of. And having, I still have the entire deck. I still have a full Fusion Sub Norden deck. And I went back to it the other day, and I was like, because this was after we had talked about it, and I was like, all right, well, with MR 4.1 coming out, and the fact that we have no competitive events coming up anytime soon, I'm just going to play around Zodiacs. And I sat there and I did some testing. You know, I tried it with Trident and Broadbowl both at one, and that seemed okay to an extent. Because, I mean, playing into a board, Zodiac is no longer the powerhouse that it was. We're not at the point of recycle all the things, and, you know, we still don't have Invoker, if I remember right.
Right. Invoker's here too. We can touch on him and Norton while we're talking about the Zodiacs if you want.
I think it would just make sense to fold them in. But, you know, for the moment, we'll focus on the two Zodiacs. And, like, having them at one would be fine. And that's after testing, and, you know, I would sit there and build a board with Salad, or I would build a board with BA, or the Dragon Link Axis, whatever they're calling it, the weird Dragon Link top. But, you know,
The
I've sat there
3.5 axis.
Yeah, and I've tested against those, and I've kind of come to the conclusion that a single Trident and a single Broad Bowl are strong enough to do something going first.
You good there?
It did not work.
You okay there, Chris?
Yeah, I apologize. I tried to mute myself, and it did not work, and accidentally disconnected the call. And I think you guys still heard me sneeze. So.
No, we actually didn't.
No, we didn't.
Oh, okay, cool. Anyways, I'm sorry. Back on topic. I think a single Trident and a single Broad Bowl, not the end of the world. It's something that going first is going to be able to establish one interruption and have a whip take and maybe Druid.
If you ask me, I don't mean to interrupt you, Chris, but if you ask me, one or the other is fine at one, but we got to get rid of something like Whiptail first.
Oh, yeah.
After the testing I've done, I strongly disagree. I don't think it needs any kind of main deck. Without Rapier and with only one of each, it's fair enough. It's not this amazing, I'm going to completely wreck that up kind of combo deck anymore. It becomes more about protecting. It is establishing many materials under Trident and trying to Trident live and use its one as effectively as you.
All right, you got anything on this, Matt?
I remember Zoo very fondly. I came back to this game around when they came meta, and then dropped for a while, because I knew the impending doom of that deck.
All right, let's move to Invoker.
It can stay.
Sorry, Matt. Go ahead.
It can legitimately stay where it is. We have Cherubini Turbo, and it does not need to have this whatsoever.
I agree. Invoker would make Cherubini Turbo that much more, for lack of a better word, aggressive.
I agree. Through that same testing that I was talking about earlier, I tried it with. I can see the thought line why Cherubini Turbo would be, God, just completely bonkers if it actually had a reason to put yet another body on field for more link, for more Exetion. And I feel like really it wouldn't be the other X-Sabers that would get abused. It would end up being a smaller Zodiac engine that got abused in order to, further the line of play. Because with the current Zodiac lineup, the Chicanine is still out. Tiger Mortar, Borbo, Hammer, still sitting on all. And it's you throw a Thoroughblade under whatever exceeds, and you have a whiptail. You're able to get a whiptail out of use of Invoker or Barrage, or however, you've got a 2800 feet stick that's able to do piercing damage and that banish anything it battles with. Having that kind of easy access, another resource for Cherubim Turbo is terrifying.
I can honestly say the same for something like Norden too. Not necessarily for Cherubini Turbo, but rank 4 spam decks, period, under the new master rule.
Oh yeah, that card cannot come back whatsoever. Neither can Mirage Stalio. Mirage Stalio.
Hold on. Wait, that's on the list.
That's
no, he can bring Stalio up now. That's fine.
But I didn't
He's
get to
right.
talk about my baby Norden.
No.
All right. You can have a few brief words about Norden, then we're gonna move to Stalio because we got to get this moving.
Yeah, we're gonna need to hurry this up a bit.
Norden is another of those cards that really just need. As much as I want it back as a fusion player, as somebody who really enjoyed Zudi, Norden is just, it's too busted. The fact that it can be instant fusioned out, if Norden came back, die. If Norden came back, a lot of other stuff would end up paying the price. And Norden, it's too splashable, too abusable, it's got way too much use. It is an all-around powerhouse of a card, and it's to stay, bro.
All right, Matt, I'll let you pick something now.
I would have to go with Shockmaster. Can y'all hear me?
That's a brave choice.
Very. Were you around when that thing was?
No, I don't need
running
to.
around?
I don't need to be around for when that came out. I can just read by its effect by why it's banned.
It's too much of a floodgate. He can't come back. I think everybody here can agree with that.
Yeah, no, 0 Shockmasters.
Chris, what do you got?
Just gonna go ahead and pick it random. Ultimate Offer. God, do I want that card back. So, speaking as somebody who has been playing since 2002, I miss Ultimate Offer. However, I can acknowledge that card is busted. It's one of those cards.
Is too busted to come back.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like I've tested it at 1 and I've seen what it could do, and it's not so much the meta decks that would be able to abuse it. It's the fact that giving a free extra normal summon, as many free normal summons as possible to these rogue decks that are really only limited because their best cards, or because putting the field is difficult for them, running all their engine pieces like Rose.
Honestly, I can see them bringing Ultimate Offering back if they give it some kind of restriction. Not necessarily once per turn, but I don't know, maybe up to twice per turn, or what they call it, thrice per turn. That's
the
what,
legendary
3 times?
thrice per turn.
And they'd have to take away either the main phase or opponent. I can see them taking away opponent's battle phase.
No, your battle
for that
phase.
to come back.
Your battle phase.
No, it says your opponent's battle phase. I'm looking right at it.
Oh yeah. Your opponent's battle phase.
See, my thing is the normal summon during the battle is the biggest factor. It gives you not only a layer of utility with the extra normal summons, but being able to drop a body to stop a direct attack. It's kind of a answer for these decks to keep from being Boral Sword. Being able to make your opponent repair or stop a direct attack, it can be helpful. However, I acknowledge that the card would need some serious revisions in order to come back even to 1, and I don't quite agree with taking away the ability to summon during the battle phase, but I do agree with limiting how many times you can use it. I would go so far as to say that if you limit that card to twice per turn, or make it so that you can only summon once during your opponent's battle phase, and twice during. However, but at most, using it twice per turn. Especially since you can chain it. It's an effect just like Return of Red Eyes or Unending Nightmare. And I think it needs the Unending Nightmare clause where you can only use it once per turn, so that you can't just sit there and activate its effect. Your opponent chains Mystical Space Typhoon. You chain its effect to it, pay another 500, still get the normal summon, and then because you've still gotten that extra normal summon. You've gotten. But at the same time, let's look at how many cards give us extra normal summons. Seraphite
Right.
wasn't seeing a whole lot of play. Double summon is a spell card. You can just drop in. Consistency, it doesn't really work. And I think Ultimate Offering would suffer from that problem. So it's kind of up in the air as to whether it would stay and be successful. So I think it deserves to have the chance, give it some kind of heavy-handed errata, limit how you can use it, and then release it at once. Let us see what we can do with it. Move it further down.
I would say increase its life point pay by a little bit would also make it better.
Yeah, I can see
Like,
making it cost 1,000 life points
yeah,
instead
I
of
would
500.
prefer it
I can
saying
see
it
that.
like 1,000 and then 15,000 for your opponent's battle phase, but you can only do that once. I think that would balance
disagree.
it a bit more.
I disagree specifically because there's that age-old philosophy. Life points don't matter except for the last one. You could make it so that that thing cuts my life points in half the time I use it. And if I can still use it, I'm going to. It would need the. If we were going to increase the life enough, it would need to cost somewhere between 1,500 and 2,000.
Yeah, agreed.
Because
All right,
otherwise, sorry.
go ahead. Say your final thoughts.
Well, because otherwise, I mean, I'll spend 5,000. I don't give a damn. Like, I will spend 5,000 to summon 5. It's gonna bother me one bit. It's not a matter of cost. It's a matter of abusability. So it really needs to be taken down.
All right, let's move to 2013.
You guys still there?
I'm still here.
Yeah.
Right. You just cut out for me. So we're talking about Dragon Rulers?
The Dragon Rulers in Sixth Sense, yes.
All right.
Chris, we're starting with you.
I'm starting with Sixth Sense. Hell no. That card can stay banned. I am not about that card.
Agreed.
Just, because it is a much older card, I'm going to go ahead and read this off real quick just so that people can kind of hear what it does.
So the newer players know what.
I have it
Yeah.
pulled.
God's
I
name
have
we're talking about.
I have it pulled up, guys.
Declare 2 numbers from 1 to 6, then your opponent rolls a 6-sided. And if the result is one of the numbers you declared, you draw that many cards. Otherwise, send a number of cards from the top of your deck to the graveyard equal to the. Now let's be real. No matter what I roll, or no matter what numbers I want this card to. Either I'm milling 1, or I'm milling 6, or I'm drawing 1, or I'm drawing 6. Either way, this is a complete win. What deck I'm running, I'm milling cards, so I know more about what's left in my deck and have a better option to go for if I kind of stumbled over my there. I have a better odd of picking the card that I need off the.
Yeah, and I think in its time, Dragon Rulers abused it the best.
Mm-hmm. I absolutely agree because of their graveyard effect. But the other thing is, we have way too many graveyard-centric decks.
Exactly.
We have too much stuff that, oh, cool. I declare 5 and 6. You rolled a 4? Cool. Let me mill off 4 cards on the top of. Okay, I milled Farfa, Graf, Seer, and Barbar. That's no. There's too much advantage to the card. How it because any deck once its resource graveyard, Light Swarms, off the top of my head there, is going to abuse this card even at 1. Because I mean it's a normal trap, so we have a couple of different cards that can search it out. You can't trap trick it if it's at 1, but at 1 people are less likely to use it, and then eventually it goes to 2, and suddenly people can trap trick for 6. Okay, cool. So this 60 card deck cards, and all of those cards are going to have a graveyard effect. Oh, hey, look, I've got all the requirements in my graveyard. I'm going to go ahead and summon Block Dragon. No, it does too much for a single card.
All right, let's move to the Dragon Rulers now. I think we've all said our piece on Sixth Sense at this point.
Well, Matt, I know you weren't exactly around for the format.
I kind of was.
I would like to hear your thoughts on it first.
From me testing about with the Dragon Rulers and none of the new Master Rule, under Master Rule 4, regular Master Rule 4, they don't really establish a big enough board to really pose a threat. Just hear me out on this, because yeah, I get that that you just need a fire and or dragon type monsters, and you can summon them from your hand or graveyard, and then you can discard them to gain an effect, or banish them, and then you get an effect off. That's with almost all of them, except for I think
they all have a ditch one with it effect.
Yeah.
They all have a banish effect. They all have their own unique effects right now, but with us currently having Tempest, what deck is playing it? Honestly,
no one's really playing it is the thing.
All right, so what would be the problem in say releasing, I don't know, Blaster to 1?
To me, honestly, nothing.
Not at the same time. Instead of Blaster, say Tidal or Redox.
I mean, I only see Redox be used as its Monster Reborn effect, and then
Redox is the
Tidal
least likely one.
Tidal isn't foolish, so I highly doubt that one. But Blaster, on the other hand, I see that one coming back more than all the other two. Cause
as far as Tidal goes, I can see Mermails playing it immediately.
Oh yeah, definitely. Or really any deck can
Blaster, I can see.
Just popping a card?
Being put into. I can see that being put in the Fire Kings or Salamangreat, to be honest.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's the only deck I would see using it.
In Redox, what Earth deck do we have running around right now?
I mean, Block Dragon's always, no matter what.
Automachia.
Block Dragon. That's not out yet, but yes, that would be a future problem.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying from a future standpoint, that card would be.
Yeah, absolutely. I wasn't looking to the future for that one, but I was looking to the now. But yes, you are right. Anything else on the Dragon Rulers or even Sixth Sense, or can we move on?
We can move on.
My only thought on Dragon Rule is the same one that I've said. Having, in whatever capacity, 3 or more Dragon Rulers is a problem. And that's, if you have 3 copies of Tempest, problem. If you have 1 copy of Tempest and 2 Redox, that's a problem. No matter how it breaks down.
Yeah, you cannot have more than 3 total Dragon Rulers. You are absolutely right.
Yeah, at the point where, even if it's 2, if it's 1 of each, it doesn't. However, you end up with more than Dragon, it's going to get abused. Be some way to take advantage of the engine, be people running Sacred Sword or
Right.
running.
We'd have to do something. We'd have to deal with something around their support to improve them again.
Yeah, and a lot of the cards that were banned with them, with I believe the exception of 6 Cents is the only card that was banned with them. Not
Super Rejuve was banned with them. Sacred Sword went to 1, and now both of those are at 3.
Mm-hmm. And so, because we have this full toolbox back, giving us back the Dragon Rulers, especially the format that we're moving into, I don't know if there's particularly a deck that would be able to abuse them. I think there's
Like
multiple.
they can't be a standalone deck anymore.
Yeah, no.
The game's gotten too far ahead for that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
like if they had
engine,
like a standalone, they can't do shit. Sorry.
Exactly. No. All right. Let's move out of 2013. But I'm gonna bring up Kaiser Coliseum. I know it's degenerate already because from experience, I played Evil Swarm with Kaiser. I know how stupid the card is. I'm actually glad it's gone.
My only real input on Kaiser Coliseum is that it needs to stay where. There's no errata that could really fix the card unless they gave it like the fusion / Necro Valley treatment where they just completely reworked how the card worked. That's about the only thing that
they would have to make it more like Necro Valley than anything to actually improve this.
Yeah, because we're talking about having to make some kind of drastic
God.
change to the fundamental nature of this card just for it to not be. What about you, Matt? Anything?
Nope.
I think Kaiser's a little too old for him.
Yeah. Damn right it is.
And God, let's just throw Lavalval Chain in here too.
We talking about Lavalval Chain?
Lavalval Chain and Wind Up Carriers and Matey. I'll let you pick which one you want first.
I would actually like you to start with Zen Matey, and then we'll leave Chain for last. Work for you?
I mean, I didn't play too much when Zen Matey was around, so I can't be too much help there. But all I know is we got to get rid of, Hunter and Magician, and then maybe we can have a Carrier back.
Yeah, I completely agree. It would take some serious work. There would be other cards that needed to go for both of them to come back.
Yeah, because Lavalval Chains was basically abused for being a rank 4 Foolish Burial or something.
Yeah, in essence, that was honestly what got it killed. The big thing with
he died during what, Necros format?
Somewhere around there. Yeah, I think it might have been a little bit early on in that.
The early days of that format, yeah. Matt, you got anything on either of these two?
I am too young.
My only input is I think that Zen Matey Zenmaity could come back if they just got rid of Hunter. I mean, honestly, you get rid of Hunter, and in the way that the works now with how many ways we would have to stop the loop outside of Hunter, it becomes too fragile without Hunter, even with.
Yeah.
So I think it would be okay if they banned Hunter, gave us back, even with Magician at what? It's at 3 now, I think.
I believe so.
Zenmaity could go back to 1, and then we'll just kind of play it by ear from there. I really love that they've been doing that more. It is really like the most effective method. What card? But Lavalval Chain, Snow's gone, Brilliant Fusion's out.
Lavalval Chain, I believe, is safe to be back at 1 with both of those gone.
Yeah, I mean, with how the rest of the ban list sits, if Lavalval Chain is the only thing coming back, if it doesn't have any of its friends or potential foolish targets coming back with it, that's fine.
I think one of the biggest foolish targets I remember for it was Jin during Necros format. And it's gone. I don't see that coming back, so I'm pretty sure the Lavalval Chain is safe to come back to at least 1.
I agree. It can come back to 1 with everything just how it is now, and it wouldn't broken. It would be.
If they bring the Lavalval Chain back to 1, he'll be just like Emerald at 1.
Yeah.
Useless.
Yeah. There are certain decks that would be able to take better advantage of it, but again, we're talking about Rogue and below.
Exactly.
So I'm not afraid of somebody's tier 75 Noble Knight
Table 500
hybrid that's gonna spam Lavalval Chain out turn 1 and dumb what? Like the decks that could really abuse it don't have good cards to abuse.
All right, I know you're too young for these, Matt, but we're going to get these out of the way next. Last Will, Painful Choice, and Trap Dust Shoot.
Trap Dust Shoot can come back to 1. I mean, honestly, it can come back. Hold on. Let me make sure that I remember the effect.
What was the other card?
Painful Choice and Last Will on top of Trap Dust Shoot.
Trap Dust Shoot can come back.
I think it could come back to 1 with an errata that your opponent reveals the monster cards in their hand rather than you getting knowledge on your opponent.
Yeah, if Dust Shoot hit a certain kind of card, yeah, I guess I could make it more viable, especially if it's monsters.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's look at your opponent's hand, select 1 monster card in it, and return that card to its owner's deck. So I think that rather than look at your opponent's hand, it should be your opponent reveals all monster cards in there. You choose one and return that card to its owner's deck. And I mean, honestly, if they made it, a once per duel, they could put that card straight back to 3. If they made it a hard once per turn, bring it back.
I can see it at 2.
And I guarantee
1 or
that
2,
card's going back to 2.
All right, so what about the other 2? Last Will and Painful Choice.
Painful Choice. I am not a huge fan of GOAT format just because of that card. It's much the same problem as Sixth Sense. No matter what you add to the end or what you send to the graveyard,
what's the updated card text for Painful Choice? Is this card actually listed in it now, or is it still set, or was it sent?
Oh no,
it's back in Go format.
It's still worded discard. Select 5 cards from your deck and show them to your opponent. Your opponent selects 1 card among them. Add that card to your hand and discard the remaining cards to the graveyard.
Okay, activate that with your opponent having a handful of dangers. No. God,
Yeah,
no.
you could, and because it isn't 5 differently named cards, okay, I'm going to activate Painful Choice. I'm going to show you 3 Bigfoots and 2 Thunderbirds. What are you giving me?
Or 3 Bigfoots, 1 Thunderbird, 1 Nessie.
Mm-hmm. Or hell, one of each. 1 Jackalope, 1
Yeah.
Chupacabra,
Just a hand straight up full of dangers. It doesn't matter what they are. No.
And because you get to choose them from your deck, I mean, you're legitimately anything in your deck. Any BA that's going to get you out of trouble.
Yep.
You
BA.
select 2 copies of it. And
BA,
3 other
Dark
cards
World, Dangers Now. I think it was because of Dark Worlds we lost it in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God.
And
All right. I think that's
I
think that's all we got on Painful Choice. What about the other one, Last Will? There was something behind that. I don't remember what it was.
If a monster on your side of the field was sent to your graveyard this turn, you can special summon 1 monster with an attack of 1,500 points or less from your deck once during this turn. Then shuffle your deck.
This was a pre-goat hit, wasn't it?
God, dude, it's been way too. Hey, you're talking 16, 17 years ago when this card was hit.
I know. That's the thing. I think it was I think it was.
Yeah, no,
I think
this
this was a
card cannot
format
come
of its
back.
own. I think Last Will was a format of its own. During I want to say between. Oh God. What year was Troop Dupe format? Do you remember?
Oh God, no. I honestly don't.
What was it before? Was it before or after Goat?
It was
I
after.
want to say before. Was it just after?
Yeah, Duke didn't come out until D-Rev?
Okay. All right. Well, what was the? Oh, Jesus. What was the format just before Goat? Then was it?
That would be O2 Classic Summon Skull
All right.
Beatdown.
All right. So it wasn't that. We lost Last Will either in Troop Dupe format or just before Teledad format. I don't remember.
Yeah, it's been a while.
But it can, like Matt said, it can stay gone for all I care.
Yeah, the card. I mean, because of the way that the card is worded,
There's no problem solving card text that'll fix this. They'd have to change the whole thing.
Yeah, they would have to completely revamp the effect because the way it's worded, if a monster on your side of the field was sent to your graveyard this turn, that means if that thing was used for fusion, synchro, link material,
doesn't matter.
If it was, as long as it left your field as anything less than or anything more than a Xyz component, that's it. It's going to get its effect. So the activation requirement isn't steep enough. There's no cost. It's able to summon 80% of the strongest normal summons in the game. And I mean, most of them have their effect on normal or special summon. Okay, sure. Okay, we'll stick with the Predaplants because that's what I know best.
I do have input on this if this card were to come back.
What's that?
Sacred Beast would abuse this.
Yeah, because of their new
Absolutely.
system coming out.
Because you can just summon out, you just tribute summon for Chaos Summoning Beast or Dark Summoning Beast, and then you just special summon out Chaos Summoning Beast from your deck, and then you just you just summon out Raviel or Haman from your hand, and then Raviel or Haman from your deck. And then add Fallen Paradise, and then set to pass with 2 activations of the Haman, the 2 new Haman spells on board.
Yeah, it's one
nuts.
of those cards that enables some really stupid stuff out of some really stupid decks. Because I understand that
I was gonna say your final thoughts on Last Will, then we gotta jump to something else here. I'm gonna take some of these cards out. I'm gonna take out Venom and Ptolemaeus, because we don't need to go over them anymore. When Chris is done, Matt, you're gonna be talking about Tyrant Neptune.
I mean, Starving Venom's the only card that I really want to discuss out of what's left. But my only thing on it is bring it one and see what happens. Come back, get rid of the Lyrilusk. As for Last Will, really the only problem with it is what it can enable. And there's too many cards that would have to be hit in order for the card to be fair enough to see play.
To sum it up, it's more degenerate than Kaiser Coliseum and Mystic Mine.
Yeah, it honestly, it really is. It enables so much more than either one of those cards ever could.
All right, Matt, take it away on Neptune.
I would just say see what happens at 1, like Chris said with Starving Venom.
Take it away, Penny.
I would probably. Oh, whoops, sorry. I would say the same thing with Starving Venom, but being able to tribute one monster just to special summon this. Not even special summon, just tribute summon for it, and then ban Lyrisk, please. That card needs to go before this card can come out.
Topic for another video, Matt.
I know.
Supposed to be on Tyrant Neptune, bud.
I'm aware. I'm trying to see.
He's doing fine. He brought up the Starving Venom too, which is fine.
The dumb Lyrisk. Other than that, we're fine. But this card can come back if that card would go.
All right, Chris, any thoughts on Tyrant Neptune, or are you good?
I mean, honestly, Tyrant Neptune can stay where it is. It was hit for a reason. It's... Pull up the... I think I'd be smart enough to actually pull this up beforehand, but, you know.
Tyrant Neptune's basically a level 10 Phantom of Chaos.
Yeah, being
That's
able to just replicate whatever effect. It's the whole reason that, you know, Starving Venom got banned in the first place. It's just too easy to get this thing on the field and just kind of run with it. It enables way too many plays that normally wouldn't possible.
All right, Chris, I'm gonna toss a card your way.
Okay.
Rusty Bardish. This one's all yours.
Oh, Rusty Boy. I miss Rusty Boy. I would bring him back in a heartbeat. However, I want to do
input for this.
I would bring him back for selfish reasons. I would bring him back just so that I could abuse him again. The card is entirely too easy to access. You know, there's just way too many ways to put it on the board, and immediately you've got access to anywhere from 1 to, depending on how you mill and how you play around it, 3 interruptions. I mean, if you opened one of your fog blades, you now get to set the second one, search the third one. Congratulations, you're screwed. Like, it's. I understand why it was hit, and I understand that a lot of people, and myself included until recently, were of the opinion that this card was, you know, hit for Orcus. Come back, it's fine. But having tested it over the last week, it on its own gives any deck that can make it too big of a head start. Because it takes a deck like Predaplants and gives it an extra 2 layers of defense, whatever you try and do. And I'm not a big fan of the type of Yu-Gi-Oh! Where it's all about, oh, hey, you want to do this? Yeah, no, I'm not letting you do that, sorry. I don't like negate-heavy formats. I don't like, okay, is my control deck going to go first and win, or is it going to go second? It's not like that.
All right, you brought up Orcust. That's gonna lead us actually to Nightmare Mermaid, and might as well Nightmare Goblin.
Goblin can stay banned. Mermaid
Yes.
honestly could come back to 1 at this point because the hit to Harp Horror taking it away completely, dropping that card row, it's removed the ease of access that I had. And I think I agree with what you and Vinnie have said in the past, or what you and Matt have said in the past. Ban Babel. Get rid of the ability to use all of their effects on both turns. Stop making them into quick effects. They're broken enough as it is.
I agree. Mermaid paid the price for Babel's sins at this point.
Yeah, and I mean, it paid for the deck's sins as a whole. They took it out so that they could make it so that Orcust had to be its own deck. Well, now Orcust, even as its own deck, isn't good enough. I haven't heard of any Orcust topping, but
there was one. I don't remember when, but it was not long after the Mermaid hit. I would have to look back on that one.
Okay. Well, I know there's been a lot since Mermaid, but since Harp Horror was hit, I don't.
So since Harp Horror, there might have been one.
Yeah.
But again, I'd have to look.
Like
Me playing Orcust Pendulum? Question mark.
Oh my God, Orcust Pendulum! Stop it.
No.
Anyway,
I mean,
no, it's not that hard.
Anyway, all right, getting off topic. Calm down. We've got 11 cards left. Let's pound these out so everybody can go to bed. Agripane.
Stays banned. No,
It
it's
can
not
stay.
coming back.
It cannot come back.
Anything that you can set up during your turn to summon something from the extra deck just because you can is a problem.
For free. No drawbacks, just for free.
I mean, like, for real, Agripane, at one point I won a match because I was able to stick my Guard Dragon combo with all 3 of the Guard Dragons out on the field, and I had Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. And so I used Agripane to summon out a Boral Sword, and then I used the 3 Guard Dragons to make another Boral Sword. Like, it's
with Agripane, you can just summon out a Boral Sword for free, a Boral Load for free.
With Agripane, you can summon any dragon you want.
You
Yeah.
could make Ultima Zolkin.
And it'll still be good. Like, it's dumb.
Considering the...
God, no. Like, that Agripane needs to stay exactly where it is. There's no possible errata that I can come up with right now that could make it anywhere near viable again.
Pay 5,000 life points?
No.
Give it Cyberstein's effect? No. How about leave it? Just leave it banned.
Oh yes, please.
Alright, anything else before we move on?
Nope.
Matt?
No, that card deserved it.
So can we basically just tie Eclipse Wyvern into Agripane at this point?
Yeah, but Eclipse Wyvern, I think it could come back. Honestly, the baby Chaos Dragons are one.
With Red MD's errata, yes, I can see it.
If we get that errata in the TCG,
I can see us getting it. Guaranteed. We've gotten every other OCG errata that's come over here at this point. Let's answer another elephant in the room. Masterpiece.
Oh man,
hell no.
Masterpiece.
No. Why? No. Why? No. Please no. God no.
Matt, it's okay, buddy. Deep breaths.
No.
Breathe, Matt. We're getting him out of the way now.
The card stays. You guys still? You guys still there? I can't hear you.
I don't see a point to keeping their best tool locked in the shed anymore.
What did you say? I didn't hear a single thing. My stuff cut out.
Well,
He
damn
was,
it.
he was just trying to justify Masterpiece coming back to one.
No.
Yeah,
With all the consistency issues True Draco now
I'm sorry,
has.
but no. That card is unfair.
I agree with you, Matt. I agree
No.
with you completely.
No,
All right,
PTSD.
Matt,
No.
breathe. We're
I don't
moving
wanna-
on.
I don't wanna-
Breathe.
Please,
it's
let's
okay,
move on.
buddy. It's okay. He's
I've
gone.
been scarred.
Moving
I've been
on.
scarred.
Masterpiece is gone, and he's staying gone. It's
Yes,
okay.
please.
I think we can say the same for Firewall.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, no.
Firewall
Firewall
can
is the
stay
time.
gone too.
Unless he gets a hard once per turn on his Vex, then yes.
I
mean,
that's
even
even
that
that's a
might not be
stretch.
enough.
Or a once per duel.
That might.
Make him hard once
that's
per
not
duel. I
viable.
could let him come back. That's fine.
Yeah. Once per duel, I'm
Alright.
fine with.
Ancient Fairy.
Please. Please.
I mean, I wouldn't mind it coming back to 1.
You're talking to an FA player right now.
Yeah.
Go ahead, man.
I'm
Go
an
off.
I'm an ABC player. I'd enjoy it too.
The reasons why this be good, I can pop my own field spells, and then special summon. Special summon any of my FAs from hand, and activate another field spell, and then keep on doing some more BS with the deck, and then gain enough advantage to make the deck actually viable. Because you can play Machine Dupe, and then you can just go to Strudo, target any one of them.
You can go to town, basically.
Yes.
It enables all of the dumb stuff that FA can do, but it can't do it without.
Yeah, there is a possibility that they could be good, but Ancient Fairy Dragon is banned.
All right, I'm gonna give you guys a 2-for-1 here. Ib and Denglong.
They can stay where
that's
they're
not
at.
fair because Dunlong is actually a fair card.
Do you just say he's a fair card?
Denglong is a fair card.
I want to hear your reasoning for this.
Okay. Let's take a look. Denglong first of the. I missed a G. Okay. Takes a tuner and a non-tuner, or one or more non-tuners. He's a level 5 light worm. Sure, he's a tuner synchro, but so, needle fiber bullshit. But, oh well. If he's special summoned, you can add a Yangzing card from your deck here. Okay, so what are you going to take? 9 pillars? Right? Isn't that their counter trap?
Yes.
Once per turn, you can send one worm-type monster from your deck to the graveyard. This card level becomes the scent monster. Okay, I can see how, I don't know, Tenyi could abuse it. What else is running worm monsters?
Continue it, boy.
You're inherently going to have to run bricks.
Special
If
summon a
this basic
Yangzing
card
monster
links
from
with
your
you-
deck, and you can only use this effect once per turn.
Mm-hmm.
No one cares about that part of the effect, though. It's the level effect
But
that matters.
The level
oh yeah,
modulation.
definitely.
It's the level
It's a
moderation
problem.
that matters.
But really, I mean, back when Denglong got banned, it was burying stuff that actually mattered. In the format we're moving into, I cannot think of a single worm type monster that I would actively want to put in the graveyard outside of maybe Vishuda. But I mean, the Tenyis are all about having non-effect monsters on the field, and Denglong can't exactly be used for the Tenyi lane. Or no, he can be material, but overall, I mean, sure, it modulates its level. It's a synchro tuner. Cool. What are you going to do with it? I mean, give me one example of what Denglong is going to do going first, even in dinos at this point, because, well,
Needle fiber.
Sure. Okay, you use your needle fiber to summon Danglong during my turn. What's that doing for you?
That's not what you can use Dinlong to go into needle fiber, like what you would do with Ib. Basically, you just do what you did with Ib, and then you just go from there.
Ib had a way to get itself on the field easier. Danglong doesn't.
No, it doesn't. You can just use DracoNet to special summon out Galaxy Serpent. Galaxy Serpent, you synchro into that. Then it's the same thing.
Yeah, but Ib at least searched a card that was worth it.
And you're getting a counter trap out of. You're getting a free negate out of doing needle fiber combos. Explain to me how that's fair.
Sure. You're adding 9 pillars. When a spell trap card or monster effect is activated, you control a Yang Zing card. Negate the activation. If you do, shuffle that card in the deck, then destroy one other Yang Zing card you can. What exactly do you gain from searching that card during my turn?
You would be doing this on your own turn, not your opponent's turn.
Okay, so you've summoned your Danglong and searched your Yang Zing trap card.
Mm-hmm.
You now cannot use Danglong to make Needle Fiber, or your trap card is used.
It special summons a. Oh wait, never mind. No, if it leaves the field, it special summon a Yang Zing monster from your deck.
Okay, so now you're having to run 2 bricks off.
Yeah. I mean, that's how you would do it with Ib.
Well, yeah, but at least Ib's cards that she was searching were still playable, even if you drew them.
I mean, you're not wrong.
If you draw your Yang Zing monster, you now cannot use Denglong's effect to summon it because it has to be summoned from the... I fail to see where Denglong in 2020 is actually going to be a...
There's probably a way someone's gonna music.
OCG has him at 3. What is he doing there? At this point, we can test him at 1 and see what happens. Because for all we know, Denglong might be one of those cards that put it to 1, does nothing. All right, let's just put it back to 3 and just leave it alone. Because I think honestly, that's what's going on over in Japan.
I agree. I think bringing it back to 1, just to kind of see where things go with it. And then people are going to see that, oh, it's just Danglong. It's not really going to do a whole lot for you. You either leave it on the field with its very unimpressive stat line, and you have a live counter trap, or you use it for needle fiber, summon another Yang Zing monster that's got a much less impressive stat line, and you have a live counter trap. Either way, I just don't have any fear of the card. I don't be so bad to bring it.
All right, let's finish off the extra deck with Summon Sork here.
No.
With
No.
Firewall, Gumblar,
Please no. No.
Rongo, all the cards that Summon Sorceress enabled, they're gone.
No.
Even Azathoth,
No.
which wasn't
This
really
card
even a
can't
Summon
come
Sorceress.
back. This card can't come back.
Why not?
Do we really need to go into the discussion of more FTKs?
I mean, what FTK is Summon
Yeah,
Sorceress?
what FTK does Summon Sork enable now? What is it?
Because all of them have been solved. Gumblar's gone. Firewall's gone.
Firewall's gone.
Yeah.
Flare metal
Even Rusty is gone.
wasn't flare metal the flare metal loop?
Flare metal.
The flare metal loop where you put what is it? The little fairy thing that keeps activating so
Yeah.
that flare metal burns your opponent to death 500 at a time.
I mean,
Okay.
do you realize how consistent that can be?
Yeah. I can kind of see why that would be a problem, but even when we had Summon Sork at 3, we had all the tools to do that. Never saw play. I highly doubt it's going to see play now, especially if we bring Summon Sorceress back into this format. People are either going to completely disregard that combo because it's consistent in the sense that it's more consistent than some things, but it, as a whole, it itself is not consistent. It's just more consistent than things.
I'd say as far as Summon Sork goes, let's just test it like we would with the Volval chain or something, or even
Oh yeah, definitely.
what's his name, Zen Matey at this point.
For once, honestly, I'm going to disagree. I think that Summon Sorceress can just straight up come back. It doesn't even matter what number you put it to. The card is an amazing utility that would help lower tier decks and kind of bolster the higher tier ones. But
What you're suggesting is that they do with Summon Sork what they did with what was it, Thousand Eyes Restrict?
Yeah, just
and
give
go
it back
straight
to
back to 3.
Yeah, there's no reason to fear the card anymore. It's not like we still have Gumblar or Rusty Bardiche or
Yeah, I can agree with that. I'm still in that old mentality. Yes, I can agree with that.
And especially with the way that decks are structured now.
Yeah.
And this is kind of my final thought. You would have to put a body on your opponent's side of the field in order to use Summon Sorceress effectively. Because none of the decks out there are putting out 4 monsters of the same type, or putting out 4 monsters and being able to leave behind one that's going to be pointed to by Summon Sork that is the type of what they want to special summon from the deck.
Personally, I want to see what both Needle Fiber and Summon Sork can do in the same format without Firewall or Gumblar or any other.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Summon Sorceress died for its own sin. But it was kind of helped along by other cards. There was a lot happening during that format. And when you think about it, yeah, sure, Summon Sorceress enabled the combos. But Summon Sorceress wasn't the whole combo. And the biggest offenders are gone.
Alright, let's move off of Summon Sork and go to Chicken Game, being the last spell we have here.
Matt, you want to lead us off on this one?
Maybe. I can see it coming back. I can see this card coming back, sorry. To be honest with you guys, I can see it coming back. But there's like, because, is it doing really anything in the OCG right now? No, not really. So. So,
I can see it. If they bring it back at all, I can see it at 1. If at all.
I see it at 1. We have 1 metaverse, 1 terraforming. We don't want 4 copies of Chicken Game. We want 1. We
have
it's
also 1 thing of set rotation.
Yeah, and if you give your opponent Chicken Game off of set rotation, you're not really losing anything, because they're going to activate it, use it to draw, and then on your turn, you get to draw. It's great for advantage. It's break even on card economy, turn 1, and then every turn after that, it's a +1. But realistically, you have to get to that card turn 1 in order for it to be the most effective. Because if you hard draw your 1 of Chicken Game on turn 3 when you're staring down a full board and your opponent managed to go past your plays, you're screwed. That's it, plain and simple.
All right, we ready to answer the final floodgate we have here? That is Vanity's Emptiness. I'll let either one of you start on this one. It doesn't matter to me.
Why does what was this printed?
It was printed way before it was relevant. I believe it was the same set that Maxi was. Like, it's old.
Vanity's Emptiness was Starstrike Blast. It's older than Maxi.
Yeah.
This card can't come back. I can argue this with Scythe. It shuts off a whole game mechanic.
And we have plenty of other floodgates that do the exact same thing. I agree. Vanities can't come back. Unless they'd have to rework it somehow to kind of be fair, but I don't, reading it right now, I don't see a way they can.
Vanities would have to be, it would have to be given something. Like, if this is the only set card you control, you can activate this card, and then with its current existing card text from that, give it the Solemn Scolding treatment so that your opponent can't set, a copy of Vanity, a copy of There Can Be Only One, and a copy of Skill Drain, and just completely shut down everything that you want to do. And the other thing would have to be that in order for it to stick around, you would have to change the original.
Give it a cost like Imperial Order.
Make it blow itself up if it's targeted by a card effect.
Remember, Imperial Order is mandatory.
No, I understand your logic, but hear me out. Make it blow itself up, not just if a card is sent from the field to the graveyard. Make it blow itself up.
Yeah, like if it's targeted like Spirit Reaper.
Yeah, because then the whole DDD thing where they target it with Siegfried it off for their turn isn't a problem anymore, because the moment they target it, it blows up.
All right, are we ready to answer the biggest elephant in the room with Maxi?
Let's double check and make sure that's the last one.
We didn't do the Teller Knight.
I cut it out. I don't care about it.
Oh.
I cut that, and I cut Starving Venom out. I'm not worried about it.
Okay.
In short, Ptolemaeus cannot come back.
Yeah, TLDR, Ptolemaeus is too broken.
All right,
yes,
I'm gonna give one simple fact to Maxi, then I'll let Matt have a turn, and then Chris, I'll let you tear into him, and then you can lead us out. Sound good?
I'm gonna mute myself to make sure that I behave.
Please do.
Good boy.
My personal thought on Maxi, yes, it's a broken hand trap from God knows what set 10 plus years ago. It can either be a 0 or 3 card at this point. No matter how many counters we have, it's too broken in my opinion. Matt, I'll let you take over from here.
My thing about Maxi is I think it would enable a better like game, like you're going to commit a board or you're not going to commit a board. You're going to give me a ton of cards. You're not going to give me a ton of cards. Like there's a dynamic to it. Like you can have 3, which would that's ideal. Like for every other hand trap. Like that's my only thing about it. Like it enables a bit healthier of a game, to be honest. Like it's like, hey, you gonna special summon or you're gonna let me just OTK you? That's all that's gonna happen between us two right now.
All right.
Like,
is that it, Matt? Or do you got a little bit more?
that's about it.
All right, Chris. To the best of your ability, I know how much you despise Maxi. Behave yourself. You got 5 minutes.
All right, I will monitor my language. I'm gonna be real honest with you guys. I'm about to light a cigarette. Okay. So speaking as someone who was playing when Maxi came out and was playing competitively, Maxi, I cannot tell you how much I personally loathe this card. It is the easiest way for me to put this into simple terms is to ask you one question. What hand trap out of everything we currently, what main deck card, singular, do you build your deck around? Not in the sense of having that be the key card to your strategy, but being the sole card that you need to be able to stop in any deck. Do you do that for Ash Blossom? Roll? Do you do that for Crow? Is there a hand trap out you are terrified of because
you can hold on a second. You can argue that for draw depending on your actual strategy, but I see your point. Continue.
But that's the thing. You can argue that for draw depending on your strategy, but you can argue that for C, matter what your strategy is. There are exactly 3 decks out there that I could drop Max C against and they're not going to crap. You want to know what they are? They are True Draco, they are Altergeist, and Subterror. That's it. And even Subterror might. Those are the only decks out there that do not have Fear Max C. And when you think about it, you're not just giving yourself, you're giving your Max C. You're giving the Altergeist player at your locals Max C. You are giving the dude at the regional who already is topping with his meta deck Max C. You are giving that random kid down the street who beat you a couple of times and you're still kind of salty about, you're giving him Max C. And then you're hoping that you're the one that draws it. It doesn't matter how many counters to a card there are in the game. If I have to include counters in my main deck because a card is that scary, it does not belong. Because it's not like Ash or Droll or even Ghost Sister and Spooky Dogwood where it's got some kind of, right? It doesn't care when you act. I could go, okay, activate Drag Down in Max C. Activate a Pointer of the Red Lotus, chain Max C. Oh, I see you have a Max C that you're activating. Cool, I happen to open my Unsearchable Called by the Grave. Or I happen to open Crossout Detonator when we finally get it. Awesome. But I'm going to open those 1 in 4 games. I think it's how it breaks. You have a 3, like a 3-point chance or some crap like that. I'd have to do the math. But the point is, you have just as much chance of opening your counter as Max C. The problem is Max C is more easily searchable. Maxi draw you into Maxi if you, and it does not matter if you're using Cipher, you're still special. You're still giving your free advantage. There's absolutely zero that I would ever want that card back. And there is absolutely no errata that could be done to it that would actually make me be okay with that card. Because a lot of people, you know, yourselves included, believe it's a 0 or 3 card. It's a 0. It is game one. It is a card that no matter what deck you're going to run Maxi. And you're also going to be running Count because it's max. Like it's the type of card that you play around or what. And there is no summoning Nibiru where you can make an Appaloosa as your 5th, and all of a sudden that Nibiru is against Maxi. You're going to draw, go to stand your opponent and drop Maxi, and now you have to choose between setting up a board that's going to take you, just ballparking it here, 12 special summons to set up a 5 negate board. And you now hope that your opponent draw in Lightning Storm, Dark Ruler, or Sphere Mode, Lava Golem, etc. to break said board. On top of the fact that they're also getting combo pieces. They're drawing ensuring by using one card that they're going, because it doesn't matter how many gates. If you establish a board with 12 gates like Triff, but you had to give your opponent 12 draws and do it for a turn, you've got 12 negates. They have 7. Most likely, some of those are going to be able to negate whatever you're going to use to try and negate their There's no winning situation facing outside. It's just ridiculous. That's it. It stays at 0.
All right. Anybody have any final thoughts about anything we talked about tonight?
No, not really.
I mean, my overarching thought on everything. Well, everything's on the ban list for a reason. And sometimes it's a dumb reason. But all we can really do is look at it and go, hey.
All right, Chris, on that note, why don't you lead us out?
All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. Once again, my name is Chris. I'm part of Blue Falcons. I've been here with Vinnie, who is the current leader of Team Blue Falcons, and Matt, who is a member of the Wisefire Alliance.
Hey boys, Wisefire, baby, YG baby.
Yeah, this was just kind of something that we wanted to do. It's our second. Thank you for sticking it out. We'll catch you guys in the next video.
For
Thanks.
the 12-hour video, 2-hour video. Woohoo!